I think it's so helpful that you mentioned how complex and complicated battered spouse syndrome cases are. We've seen situations where it's a wife who had to kill a husband in self-defense, and the battered wife syndrome was not raised as a defense. And it's been curious, but a lot of attorneys who have analyzed it have said it's a difficult thing to bring forward. You have to get an expert to be on board with it. There's a lot of analysis of your client that you have to open them up to be able to be interviewed by the expert from the other side. So going forward with that, as you mentioned, it is complicated. Do you think it adds to the challenge for the defense in the Ashley Benefield case that there is no testimony yet that we have seen that Doug Benefield ever attacked her physically? You heard the mention of the gun being fired in her presence, that he threatened to take his own life in front of her. She accused him of poisoning her while she was pregnant. But in terms of what we heard in the Thompson trial so far, of the punching and the beating and the dragging by the hair and that sort of physical combat, we don't have that. How much of a challenge do you think that could be in the Benefield case?
It all comes down to the opening statements. I remember in the opening statements for the Marsha Thompson case, the defense attorney stood up there and said, while he was abusing her, while he was throwing remote controls at her and laying on the couch, she would walk up to him and massage his feet, because in her experience, massaging his feet would calm him down, right? So if you're a juror, you're seeing the visceral scene laid out for you by the attorney, which is you're being abused and disrespected, which is even worse, yet your response is to massage someone's feet. So in the Benefield case, in the Black Swan murder trial, it comes down to the opening statements and whether or not the attorney can paint it in that kind of a visceral light. If what it comes down to is he was just rude to her, he threatened her, they had a contentious marriage, she pulled out a gun and shot him when he wasn't looking, if the state can prove that, then I don't think a jury is gonna go for it. Also, you're looking at a very young, very beautiful woman, very vibrant woman who's very well known, who's a famous ballerina. Juries they're gonna want to know, like, why did you feel that you were stuck to this person and your only way out was to shoot him? I hate to bring that up, but that's what a jury, because I'm looking at what a jury would do. A jury, if I was talking to her, I'd tell her, listen, these jurors, they're going to be looking for ways to say that you're a murderer. Don't think for a second that they won't feel that way, because these jurors, none of them are going to be ballerinas. So we have to prove to them that you were helpless, kind of like we feel today with Marsha Thompson. We feel like she was helpless. She was in a marriage with a monster, and her only way out was murder. We have to be left with that same feeling with the Black Swan murder trial with Benefield. Her and her defense attorneys have a very difficult challenge, and they have to prove that to the jury.